This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, stormwater runoff from a new Wanaka subdivision into Otago fish and game land is causing concern. The next chapter in Central Otago's multi-million-dollar cycle trail development has been signed off in Cromwell. And the sky cleared and lights lit up Queenstown for the annual Luma Light Party over the weekend. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Sophie Morris. Stormwater runoff from a new Wanaka subdivision into land owned by Otago Fish and Game Council at the head of Bullock Creek last week complies with earthworks standards. That's the conclusion of Queenstown Lakes District Council officers who assessed the stormwater and confirmed it was clear and complied with the district plan and resource consent conditions. But critics say the problem may actually get worse.
Stormwater runoff breaching a dam in the Meadowstone Alpha Series subdivision in Wanaka. The water eventually ending up in Bullock Creek, causing concern for Otago Fish and Game with the subdivision right next to its boundary.
Bullock Creek is a really valuable property which the people of Wanaka really respect. They've got friends of Bullock Creek that look after it, and we're concerned about water quality from this.
Fish and Game say Bullock Creek is a sensitive environment fed by springs. Creeks like this aren't usually affected by stormwater flows. There's concern the situation will get worse as the subdivision isn't yet complete.
And we have to understand that probably only 50% of this development has had hardened surfaces. Most of the water's still going to ground. So when it's completed, we can expect to see probably double this amount of water in what is a relatively minor rainfall event.
Alpha Series developer Alan Dippy says the stormwater system is performing as designed and consented, and the water is testing clear. But Fish and Game say it's well documented with ground cover changes from absorbent farmland to hard surfaces like buildings and paths. The water can run off a lot quicker.
The moment you harden the surface, you concentrate it into a constant flow, and that means that you get increased runoff and accelerated runoff.
They're trying to encourage the council to stop further development until the stormwater issues are resolved. Dippy says the next stage of the project is to create a natural wetland to further enhance best management stormwater practice. In Wanaka, the South Today.
A car ended up through a fence after a three-car crash in the Dunedin suburb of Mornington this morning. Police say they were called to the crash on Glen Park Avenue just after 8:30. St John Ambulance and Fire and Emergency New Zealand were also called to the scene. At least one occupant suffered minor injuries. The next chapter in Central Otago's multi-million-dollar cycle trail development has been officially signed off in Cromwell. Construction of the Lake Dunstan Cycle Trail is scheduled to begin this week, commencing with a sod turning ceremony overlooking Lake Dunstan.
Turning the sod before the diggers move in. Construction of the 54-kilometre first stage of the Lake Dunstan Cycle Trail near Cromwell set to begin this week. The start of the project celebrated with a sod turning ceremony.
I'm always excited about building trails basically because I've been involved since 2008, I think I started, down the Roxburgh Gorge. And I was involved to a lesser degree on the Clutha Gold Trail, and they started in 2006. So, I can see huge benefits to the community when we get finished building these trails. It's all about health and it's about tourism as well, sustainable tourism.
Trail Network Trust Chairman Stephen Jeffrey says they're looking forward to the work being completed.
I'm probably not as excited as I will be when we're finished, but I'm still excited to get started.
The trail begins at Smith's Way and leads to the Dunstan Arm Rowing Club near the Clyde Dam. The development consultants say the Central Otago landscape is perfect for cycle trails.
Down the Cromwell Gorge, it's that arid climate with lots of rocky bluffs and steep hillsides in the lake, and we'll be looking to showcase that in the trail, including, trail across rock faces, which will be quite unique in a cycle trail sense. as well as traditional cycle trail.
Tim Dennis says the project has been a long time coming and when completed will be part of the 536 kilometre cycle trail network.
Oh, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
I've been working on these combined trail projects here since 2013 and to see it finally get started is exceptional.
Yeah. The project is split into 5 stages and has an estimated cost of $26 million. In Central Otago, the South Today.
Remember the heater meter rule. That's the advice from Fire and Emergency New Zealand after a day of sifting through the remains of a house in Wanaka destroyed by fire on Saturday morning. Fire Risk Management Officer John Small says he was unable to find the cause of the fire in the Norman Terrace house, but a likely cause is inflammable material being close to a heat source. He says they recommend keeping anything combustible or anything that will burn a metre away from the heater. Wanaka Volunteer Deputy Fire Chief Tony Wellman says no one was at home when the fire broke out on Saturday, but a female occupant returned to find it ablaze. From frolicking fluoro fairies to monsters in the deep, the minute the sun went down, Queenstown Gardens was transformed into a lit-up wonderland over the long weekend. The 4th annual Luma Light Festival began in the resort town on Friday night, showcasing dozens of light installations and close to 100 live performers.
Seeing in winter, Queenstown style, the annual Luma Light Festival kicked off in the resort on Friday night, showcasing dozens of light installations and live performances.
We've got everything from 9-year-old ballet dancers to contemporary professionals. We've got an amazing array of artists from around New Zealand, but also from overseas. And probably the community groups is the thing. I think the Pottery Club is probably one of the coolest things there.
The bright and bold flame entertainment fairies were also back after dazzling the crowd at last year's festival. The event's now in its 4th year, with organisers pleased with its progress.
It started from a light and sculpture festival and it's turning into a sensory experience that involves sound, dance, performance, light. It's a total immersion of the senses.
And after a week of consistent rain and threats of snow, organisers say the skies cleared just in time for the first lights to be switched on.
It's not ideal, but you go in with a good attitude, and we've got so many people who are professional. They just put on a raincoat and get on with it.
The festival wound up last night, with organisers hoping it attracted at least 50,000 people in Queenstown, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. Otago University celebrates 150 years and Central Otago Mountains welcome the beginning of the ski season.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. We have new items arriving every day. Visit us for a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
It's on again, the Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale starting noon 7th of June. Don't miss out. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
At Green Island Medical Centre, we are committed in caring for our future and present generations. We know as a young person, coming to the doctors can be quite daunting. Our highly skilled doctors and nurses will make your experience one where you will leave with a smile. Your health is very important to us.
The season has changed, and at Alec Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
Every Kiwi deserves a reliable garage door. Rely on Garador to protect your important stuff. Just like Darren. His Garador keeps his favourite ride in mint condition. We have a huge range at affordable prices. Visit our website for a free consultation. We stand behind every door.
Step into Shop on Carol and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Oh mate, I'm thinking about getting a new ute.
Welcome back. The night sky above Dunedin's Octagon became a backdrop for a stunning fireworks display on Saturday night. The event was just one of several to celebrate 150 years of Otago University. Fireworks streamed out across the sky above the Dunedin Municipal Chambers early on Saturday evening as part of the weekend celebrations, marking the university's 150th anniversary. Earlier in the day, Governor-General Dame Patsy Reddy described the university as Dunedin's beating heart. The university has seen considerable growth in recent decades, with an increase in the university student roll from about 3,500 in 1960 to about 20,000 today. The crowds turned out in Oamaru to take part in the 10th anniversary of the Steampunk New Zealand Festival over the weekend. Running from Friday to Sunday, the celebrations included a public wedding between two steampunk enthusiasts.
I welcome you all to a weekend of celebrating my 200th birthday!
Queen Victoria was present to open the event, which saw hundreds of steampunks take part in the annual parade through the historic streets of Oamaru on Saturday. On display were all manner of decorated teapots, and a mess dinner at the Lone and Merck building celebrated a decade of steampunk festivals in Oamaru. One of the weekend's highlights was the wedding of Debbie Bradley and Anthony John McCormick, which was held in front of around 40 friends and family, plus curious onlookers and a television crew from Australia. Ski fields around Queenstown and Wanaka are getting ready for the 2019 season. Last week's cold fronts brought snow to mountains and ski fields across the area, with Cardrona Alpine Resort opening on Saturday. But the weekend's wintry blast made for a low-key start to the skiing season.
Almost whiteout conditions and poor visibility, keeping the crowds away from Cardrona Alpine Resort, the first Southern Lakes ski field to open this year. Only about 200 visitors turned up on Saturday to play in the snow and take advantage of the free tobogganing on offer to children. But General Manager Bridget Legnevsky is upbeat about the quiet start to the season.
Oh, it's just so good to be open. It's so good for it to be cold and snowing and actually feel like winter. And the staff are into it. It's just really nice, and it's easy because it's soft where you haven't gone and opened the whole resort. So it's kind of a soft, easy opening. People are out there, they're playing in the snow, they're enjoying it, and by the looks of the snow coming down and the snowmaking we're doing, we're going to get some runs open really soon.
With outdoors looking bleak and desolate, public and staff kept warm in some of the renovated indoor areas.
Our focus this year was all about trying to get better flow for the guests and more space for the guests, and that's what we've been working on. It's been a big project and it feels really good.
While the ski trails are still ungroomed and not ready for use, the McDougall's Chondola was operating for sightseers to take a ride up the mountain.
I'm going to go for a ride on the gondola. There's been a few people going up there, and I want to go and check with the snowmaking team and terrain team to see how they're going with developing the trails. It'll be great.
This coming weekend should see the Remarkables field also open, with Coronet Peak hoping to start in 2 weeks' time. Treble Cone isn't planning to be open until the end of the month. In Wanaka, for the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, a local accompanist steals the show at this year's Michael Hill International Violin Competition in Queenstown, and we check out tomorrow's weather.
Most of us have spots on our skin. That's quite normal. Finding skin cancer as early as possible is key to successful treatment. Book in for a free check of 1 to 2 moles or a comprehensive full body check with the Mole Doctor in Waverley.
At the Hard to Find Bookshop, we sell quality books on all subjects from the rare to the recent, and where viable, we will come to you. We have a great reputation for integrity and honesty, so if you're downsizing or sorting an estate and have books to sell, contact us.
It's on again, the Regent Theatre 24-hour book sale, starting noon 7th of June. Don't miss out.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
The Green Island Medical Centre offers everything for your family's needs. Whether you are travelling or coming in to discuss health symptoms, our medical staff provide the best of care. We offer Manage My Health, making booking an appointment or requesting a repeat prescription a breeze. We welcome families like yours. Give us a call today, phone 03 488 2754.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole Map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
The season has changed, and at Ella Campbell Menswear, in our 3 stores, Cromwell, South Dunedin and Mosgiel, we have it covered. Check out these jackets. They'll keep you warm and dry and stylish. Of course, we're known for our fashion shirts, but in the winter we do have our lovely warm shirts. Look at them all. And we're known for our great range of winter knitwear too. Don't forget our stretch moleskins, 6 colours.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
We'll keep you warm and dry and looking just great.
Autumn is here and it's too late to sow seed. But don't despair, Ready Lawn is the answer to all your garden woes. Call Ready Lawn today on 027 22 88 190.
If you're suffering from sciatica, lower back pain, hips and pelvis and knees, this technique will work wonders for you. The energy flow is transmitting through the muscles. Come and see Sunny Chin.
Ricky here from Beds R Us Dunedin, your local sleep specialists. Come in and try our huge touchscreen sleep selector, taking the hard work out of choosing the right bed for you. See you here.
Bowel cancer is the second highest cause of cancer death in New Zealand.
And New Zealand's got a higher rate of bowel cancer than many other Western countries.
Because it's one of those areas of the body that we don't talk about often enough. It is one of those silent killers almost, that if it strikes and if you develop symptoms, sometimes it's too late.
So it's a major issue.
Welcome back. 16 of the most talented young violinists in the world performed in Queenstown over the weekend, but it was a local accompanist who stole the show. Earlier this year, German violinist Matthias Wells asked to be put in contact with a local piano accordion player. This was for the violinist's personal choice section at this year's Michael Hill International Violin Competition. Queenstown blind musician Mark Wilson was recommended and began learning 2 Russian folk songs by ear. Their first public performance after a week of rehearsals was a hit with the crowd. Next Saturday sees the competition's finalists perform concertos with the Auckland Philharmonic Orchestra. Hundreds of motorcyclists blazed a trail to a campsite at Central Otago's Ida Valley over the weekend. Although the conditions overnight Saturday were described as freezing, the weather for the 39th Brass Monkey Rally was an improvement on last year's almost Antarctic conditions.
Keeping warm around a fire while camping out on the exposed Maniototo Plains. This weekend's Brass Monkey Rally drew around 1,000 hardy motorcyclists to the 39th annual event at Otarahua in Central Otago.
Well, we had 500 pre-entries for this year, which is actually pretty good going. Last year we had similar.
Despite the tough-looking motorbikes and leather-clad riders, Willems says the event is for the whole family.
We actually had a young kid just hopped on a bike from the car park and came in. He's just turned 14, this is his 14th birthday, and he's making the effort to come here. And he rode through there, came in on this rally side, and he's going to spend the whole night here with his family.
The first Brass Monkey was in 1980, and each year has seen hundreds, sometimes thousands of hardy souls ride their motorbikes to the windswept Idaburn campsite.
As far as professions, it's anybody. You put your helmet on, you can be anybody, you can be a doctor, a lawyer, you can be a secretary. We've got some women coming in here as well that are riding, which is great to see.
The event is a highlight on many riders' calendars and draws people from across New Zealand.
Oh, I've taken 2 weeks off, but I've come down from Te Awamutu in the Waikato just south of Hamilton and tying this in on a 2-week holiday tour around.
Last year saw the temperature drop as low as -11 degrees, but this year's drizzle and overcast skies kept the severe frosts away, and organisers are happy with the turnout. At Idaburn Dam for the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Stormwater runoff from a new Wanaka subdivision into land owned by the Otago Fish and Game Council at the head of Bullock Creek last week complies with earthworks standards. The next chapter in Central Otago's multi-million-dollar cycle trail development has been officially signed off in Cromwell. And from frolicking fluoro ferries to monsters in the deep, the minute the sun went down, Queenstown Gardens was transformed into a lit-up wonderland over the weekend. And time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome, Hayden.
Good evening, Sophie, and how are you?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Very good. Should be an interesting night ahead. So a few interesting stories to get into the paper tomorrow, so let's kick off. Dunedin City Council, they're always doing something interesting, and today it's inner city living is the big focus. They're talking about obviously the housing crisis that we all know Dunedin is going to face or is beginning to face. The answer they believe is encouraging more inner city apartment living. It has huge ramifications, I suppose, for developers, for young Dunedin people who perhaps have struggled to get into the housing market. Should they look at inner city apartment living? I guess the more people you can cram in, the better. It's not for everybody, but could well be a solution. So that should be interesting. And also extremely more unusual and interesting is this Roxburgh Golf Club story. So the Roxburgh Golf Club has a few too many holes. There's only supposed to be 18 on a golf course, but they've got 18,000, I think. Having a bit of a rabbit problem up at Roxburgh Golf Club, so they're having to think about how they're going to address that, because I believe the local golfers are not enjoying too much the extra rabbits. Keeping in the regions, the Wanaka Primary School is building some houses to attract teachers. I don't know if you're old enough to remember school houses, Sophie, but when I was a boy, my primary school had a house, and the teacher, the principal, had that house. Well, Wanaka Primary School is saying it's simply too hard to attract teachers. Wanaka, obviously, house prices have exploded. Their answer, they believe, is build a couple of houses, attract good teachers and get them into affordable housing. So a good way of thinking.
Right.
We've got a Dunedin doctor talking about his trip across Iceland, an unsupported trip on skis and a pack raft. I think he believes it could be a world first, so that could be an interesting yarn. And in sport, Jeff Cheshire looks back on the Southern Steel's year. Obviously ended in hugely disappointing circumstances in the playoff final, preliminary final, but he's going to look back on his year, what went right and what went wrong, and as always, I guess, what could do better next year. So all that and more should be a fairly interesting paper tomorrow, fingers crossed.
Great, thank you, Hayden. And time now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with today's southern view, some of the weekend's colour at Luma in Queenstown. Looking at the situation, more fronts and cold wintry weather is on the way from the Southern Ocean, with tomorrow and Friday likely to bring further snowfalls inland. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, Greymouth and Westport can expect grey skies with 11 degrees. Across to the northeast, Nelson and Blenheim are set for rain and 9 degrees. In Canterbury, plan for a wet and cloudy day with 9 degrees in Kaikoura, clouds and 9 degrees in Christchurch, and Ashburton also cloud covered, 1 degree lower on 8 degrees. Looking at the southern towns, moderate southwesterlies with cloud increasing. The Catlins aims for 9 degrees, while Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore can all expect 8 degrees. Travelling westward to the Central Lakes, tomorrow is set to feature light southeasterlies and clear skies. Alexandra should reach 8 degrees, Wanaka 6, and Queenstown is the coolest on 5, while Tiano is the odd one out, expecting late rain and 8 degrees. Looking to the northern towns, along the coast, Oamaru and Timaru are in for light easterlies, some clouds and a high of 10 degrees. Clear skies bring colder temperatures inland. Omarama heads for 7, while Twizel should reach 8 degrees. In Dunedin tonight, fine and cold with an overnight low of 1 degree. Sunny and cold tomorrow with moderate southwest winds. Cloud increasing tomorrow night. Looking at a high of 8 and a low of 4. Cloudy on Thursday with some rain developing during the evening. Light winds tending northeasterly. Aiming for a high of 9 and a low of 7. Heading to Invercargill, fine tonight with an overnight low of 0, so expect frost around dawn. Sunny periods and some cloud tomorrow with moderate cold southwesterlies. Cloud increasing tomorrow night, a high of 9 and a low of 7. Cloudy on Thursday with periods of rain and strong northwesterly winds at first, easing to wintry showers with strong cold southwesterlies later, with sleet heading into Friday. Looking at a high of 9 degrees and a low of 2. That's all for our news this Tuesday. For the latest news from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.